Sammy Baugh was the first head coach of the New York Titans, the team that would later become the Jets. Baugh coached the team for 2 seasons and was succeeded by Clyde "Bulldog" Turner in 1962. But the following year, the team replaced Turner with Weeb Ewbank, the coach who had already made football history in New York. In 1958, Ewbank led the Baltimore Colts into Yankee Stadium and defeated the New York Giants for the NFL championship. It was called the greatest game ever played, and it established Ewbank as one of football's best coaches.
When Coach Ewbank came in, everybody was saying, oh, he's going to start bringing all these guys in from Baltimore. Well, he did. He brought in Mark Smolinski and a boy by the name of Winston Hill, who I think was probably one of the best offensive blocking tackles that's ever been in the league. He picked up Johnny Sample, brought him into camp, and told Sample, if you get in shape, there's a place for you here. And I've never seen a guy work so hard as Johnny Sample did to make our team and later on become our team captain.
Ewbank was a master psychologist as well as a coach.
Weeb was way ahead of his times as far as when people think of him being an old-fashioned coach. Weeb allowed the players to wear their hair as long as they wanted to. He would say to the rookie players at the opening night, I prefer the brush cut myself, but I have a quarterback who who has very long hair, and I always tell Joe, long as you don't trip over it going into the end zone, it's all right by me.
We got a letter once from the president of the league requesting us, demanding that we shaved our faces. Coach Ewbank hid that letter and didn't show his team until after we clinched the championship in '68. Then he put the letter up. Blue 19!
Namath and Ewbank had great mutual respect, even if Joe didn't always show it.
We were playing 7-on-7, and the guy went down and hooked, and then Joe threw the ball in there. There was a man behind him, man on either side of him, and here's a couple guys open out other places. And I told him, I said, Joe, you should have never even thrown that ball. And he laughed, and he said, Coach, your eyes are bad. He says, I completed it. I said, yes, but you're not going to do that in a game. I said, got a little rush on and things. I said, you're not going to be that accurate. He said it jokingly and laughed, and I did too, of course, but he got the point.
When the Jets met the Colts in Super Bowl III, they had an advantage because Ewbank was more experienced than Baltimore's Don Shula.
Shula at that time was a young coach. And the old man just had been through it all. He had done it all, Weeb Ewbank. And he was very intelligent. He knew what he was doing. He knew the personnel.
Weeb Ewbank had won the championship with the Colts. He knew the Colts people. And he broke the Colts down at what was perceived to be their strength. With Snell running off to the left over the right side of the Colts, and with Namath throwing controlled passes to Sauer in front of their secondary.
We're going to come up with 3 for sure, though. He's not going to. That's good. He's not going to. He's not going to. Tackle over down there. You want to tackle over? Yes, sir. Oh, yes. Any place now. Any place now.
Ewbank's meticulous preparation set the stage for the biggest upset in Super Bowl history. The Jets defeated the Colts 16-7 in a game that really wasn't that close. It was Ewbank's 3rd World Championship, and it made him the only head coach to win titles in both the NFL and the AFL.
Well, we're very happy that we won. We think that we beat a fine football team today. I'm quite proud of our football team.
Congratulations again.
Thank you very much.
Weeb Ewbank was inducted into the Pro Football Hall of Fame in 1978, where he joined Sammy Baugh and Bulldog Turner. The Jets are the only NFL franchise that can claim its first 3 head coaches are all Hall of Famers. The same could not be said for the coaches who immediately followed Ewbank. The first was Charlie Winter. Then in 1976, it was a young college coach named Lou Holtz.
I called it the Lou Holtz era. That's the ERROR, the Lou Holtz era. And not necessarily because he was a bad coach. I think that he was the wrong guy at the wrong time for the wrong job.
As the losses mounted, Holtz resorted to some old college tricks to build morale.
After the game, he starts passing out these pamphlets to everybody, and on it, it has a fight song. And he said, "That is the Jets fight song. We're going to sing this after every game." So Ed Gallagher says, you got to be kidding. And in the background, you have Holtz saying, now guys, we're going to sing this in the same key that we're going to sing when the caissons come rolling along, right? So I'm going, oh, I guess you sing it. And Ed is looking at me like, you going to sing this? And Namath goes, well, when the Jets Namath started singing, so everyone started singing. And it was so funny. I just figured if Namath can sing, so can Greg Buttle.
Holtz didn't even finish the '76 season. He resigned with one game to go and returned to college football.
Well, when Holtz left, he said God didn't intend him to be a pro football coach, and today I believe it.
By contrast, Holtz's successor, Walt Michaels, had been in pro football as a player and coach since 1951.
Walt was old school. He came from the Vince Lombardi era of teaching, do it my way, and that was the way it was supposed to be done, To me, it was great because I was used to that all my life, and he reminded me perfectly of my father. I always say a head coach has to do one thing, get the guys ready, really. That's all he has to do. And you have to want to go to the wall for him. And Walt was the kind of guy that you wanted to go to the wall for.
Michaels was the Jets' defensive coordinator when they won Super Bowl III. But the team he took over in 1977 was in ruins.
We'll have ups and downs with a team like we have. We're young. We're about 24 years old. They're an up and down roller coaster type. I think you'll find that anytime you deal with a young football team. And until they can learn to handle the pressure of week in and week out consistency, you're going to have that problem. It's as simple as that.
Again, you're repeating until they grow up? Mature?
Until they grow up. There's no question about it, because I think today was an example of just too many mistakes, really.
The Jets finally broke through in 1981, winning 10 games and earning a playoff spot. In 1982, the Jets returned to the playoffs, where they trounced Cincinnati for their first postseason win since Super Bowl III. The following week, the Jets went to Los Angeles, where they upset the Raiders to advance to the AFC Championship game in Miami. But there, the road ended for both the Jets and Walt Michaels. The Jets lost the game, and Michaels walked away after 6 years as head coach.
He did nothing but positive things. Really, as a head coach, he never had lax years. He always did well. And it showed that his coaching ability showed for us, because after he left, we went downhill.
Over the next 14 years, the Jets had 4 head coaches: Joe Walton, Bruce Coslet, and for 1 year, Pete Carroll. The team bottomed out under Rich Kotite, winning just 1 game in the 1996 season. That prompted owner Leon Hess to take a bold step and hire Bill Parcells to rebuild the franchise.
You have to figure out where your team's mentality appears to be when you start, and then put the hammer. If it's not where you want it, put the hammer down quickly and try to get the attention back on the detail very quickly. You need to be back here.
Parcells taught the Jets his brand of football.
So that when you catch it, you're going that way. See what I'm saying? You're just wasting time. And they're running, okay? These guys come in this league. This ain't like playing Wake Forest now.
Young players like number 32 Leon Johnson listened and learned.
Berger boots it away from his own 11. It's a high putt. Sails to the 34. Johnson makes the catch right side. Makes the tackle across the 45 into Minnesota territory. Across the 40 to the 30 to the 20. Leon Johnson is gone. Touchdown Jets.
Parcells performed one of the greatest turnarounds in NFL history. He lifted the Jets from 1-15 to 9-7 in just 1 season. The following year, Parcells set his sights even higher. He lifted the Jets to a club record 12 victories and a first-place finish in the AFC East. And he did it the old-fashioned way, with hard work. Parcells' hard-driving approach was based on a simple philosophy.
Pat Riley has it best, winning and there's misery. That's all there is. Nothing else.
The Jets started the 1998 season 0-2, but they rallied to win 12 of the next 14 games. They won 6 games in a row to close out the regular season and clinch their first division title since 1969.
Testaverde to throw, looking left, airing it out. He's got Ward who makes the grab, and Dedrick Ward's gone. A 71-yard catch and run, but gamble by the Buffalo defense, and Dedrick Ward makes them pay.
Certainly the kids that I inherited here at the Jets, I know that's a tremendous satisfaction for them. Here you tell them to believe in something, and hey, you believe in a program, and if you work and try to achieve, something good will happen. They hadn't experienced it like the Jumbos and the Colin Browns and the Otis Smiths and those kids. And I'd be remiss if I didn't tell you how happy I am for Mr. Hess. We're going to give him the game ball and the division championship, and I'm honored to be able to do that.
The Parcells era peaked in the 1998 divisional playoff, when the Jets rolled over the visiting Jacksonville Jaguars.
Listen to this crowd. They are bananas.
And I'll tell you, Jet fans, you got a team you can be very proud of right now.
The Jets lost to Denver in the AFC title game, and 2 years later, Parcells stepped down as head coach. Stepping in was Herman Edwards, whose upbeat personality was well received by the players.
NFL experience, man, you're part of it right now. People pay a lot of money to do that, you know, the week of the Super Bowl, go to that NFL experience, ride all the rides, you know. You guys get it free every day, huh? That was like that play was in
Minnesota.
Yeah. Same route. He did that in the real game, too.
Edwards was the first coach in Jets history to lead the team to the playoffs in his first season. His passion for winning was obvious in every locker room speech.
We're starting to become a good football team. We're just starting to become a good football team. Hey, man, we ain't done. We're going to get better. Don't let that feeling you have right now when you leave up out of here, understand that feeling you got, man. Because we ain't had it in a while. But we got it back. And we got to build on that. Oh, right there. Good job, Mo Lewis. Swing ready. Good job. Hey, Sam, that's good because if they throw that curl, you got to get to the curl.
Edwards led the Jets to the postseason 3 times, more than any coach in franchise history. The 41-0 rout of Indianapolis was the Jets' most one-sided postseason victory ever. But following a heartbreaking loss to Pittsburgh in the 2004 playoffs and a 4-12 finish in 2005, Herman Edwards left New York, and owner Woody Johnson began the search for a new leader.
It's my pleasure and honor to introduce the next head coach of the New York Jets, Eric Mangini.
Thank you very much, Mr. Johnson.
Mangini was only 35, but he had been an NFL assistant for 11 years. He was defensive coordinator in New England in 2005 when he won his 3rd Super Bowl ring.
I had confidence that Eric Mangini had the tools and the experience and the intelligence to design and help us put a culture in that would enable us to put a successful team on the field.
This is building a culture. It's building a team, and it's building an organization that can achieve long-term and consistent success.
Mangini took over a team most experts picked to finish in last place, but the Jets won 10 games and earned a trip to the playoffs.
Touchdown, Jets! What a catch by Jericho Cotchery!
There's going to be no huddle. Just so we declare what we're doing, we just got to get the balls in, and it's normal business.
We talked about that all the time. Just work on the task at hand, whether it be that meeting, that practice, that rep, And if you do that, that's the way that long-term success is built.
Mangini is one of the NFL's youngest coaches, but he used an old-school formula to turn the Jets from losers into winners.
Hard work and preparation. Yeah, leave nothing to chance. Practice the things that will help you win games. And so his attention to detail is extraordinary.
We're going to work as hard as we possibly can, and we're going to collectively commit to improving each day and to making progress and collectively work to move forward.